Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so if you're a small business owner and it feels like you're just tossing government proposals into a giant, endless black hole, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're completely dismantling the biggest myth in government contracting and building a strategic, step-by-step playbook to actually get you winning. You know the feeling, right? You spend weeks, literally weeks, crafting this beautiful proposal, you hit submit, and then crickets. You hear absolutely nothing. It makes you wonder if the government already knew exactly who they wanted from day one. Honestly, it leaves you wondering if the whole game is just rigged. Well, spoiler alert, it's not rigged, but it is highly predictable if you know exactly what to look for. Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover the GovCon opportunity trap, why you should research agencies instead of opportunities, our 3 key steps, targeting mission priorities, analyzing incumbents and decoding procurement patterns, and finally wrap up with the intelligence-driven advantage. Let's get right into it. Part 1, the GovCon opportunity trap, and the very real danger of chasing solicitations blindly. Look, most new contractors get totally stuck right here, in this cycle. You wait for a SamGov alert to pop up, you scan through the open solicitations, and you reactively hit submit. But here's the harsh truth for small businesses. By the time that RFP actually hits the street, yeah, incumbent relationships are already locked in. The procurement direction, it's already been shaped. Honestly, if you're starting your work at step 1 here, you're already way too late. So let's look at part 2, researching agencies, not opportunities. This is the fundamental mindset shift. See, average contractors just react to the market. They're constantly asking, well, what contracts are available today? But the strategic small businesses, they study behaviors way before solicitation even exists. They're asking the good questions. How does this specific agency buy? Who do they actually trust? And where are their operational gaps? Shifting to that second mindset is absolutely crucial. It leads to better teaming, much better timing, and honestly, a significantly higher win probability. Moving right along to part 3, which is step 1 of our playbook, target mission priorities, and why you really need to look beyond NICS codes. Here's the thing you've got to remember. Agencies don't buy generic capabilities. They just don't. They buy mission support. So instead of just obsessively scanning for NIACS codes, you want to look for specific indicators. We're talking expanding modernization goals, operational bottlenecks that are slowing them down, publicly discussed leadership risks, and growing budget categories. When you align yourself with these overarching problem-solving goals, you stop being just another generic vendor and become a highly targeted problem solver for that exact agency. All right, part 4, which is step 2, analyze incumbent vendors to really understand trusted delivery teams. Consider this checklist your ultimate incumbent decoding ring. First, look at contract ownership. If a vendor has held a contract for, say, 10 years, well, they've obviously built some deep trust. But hey, maybe they're getting a little complacent, right? Then look for vulnerabilities. Are they growing way too fast? Are they dealing with customer complaints? A pro tip for your step-by-step research here, go dig into public award databases to see what specific procurement vehicles they use and keep a close eye on upcoming recompete dates. Doing this exposes their weak spots and gives you a literal roadmap for exactly how to position your own company. And that actually brings us to a golden rule of government contracting. Sometimes the absolute smartest move is not competing against incumbents, it's positioning beside them. Seriously, for a small business just starting out, coming in as a specialized subcontractor is kind of the perfect way to build up institutional trust. You bypass those huge barriers to entry, you build up your past performance, and you become a known, trusted entity, all without having to unseat a giant on day 1. Next up, part 5, step 3. Decode procurement patterns to find predictable behavior. So a massive chunk of finding those predictable patterns revolves around sources sought notices and requests for information, RFIs. It's crazy so many contractors just flat out ignore these because, well, there isn't an active funded contract to bid on yet. And that is a huge mistake. These notices are intelligence gold mines. Instead of just brushing them off, ask yourself, what is the agency actually trying to validate here? Because they're telling you exactly what keeps them up at night and where their capability gaps are, months before the official RFP ever drops. Okay, so here is how you decode their buying DNA in 3 simple steps. First, track their repeat spending behavior. Second, pinpoint their dominant contract vehicles, like do they heavily favor small business set-asides, or maybe specific guacs. And third, consistently mine those early RFIs for intel. Following this step-by-step system, it literally transforms your small business from a random reactive contract hunter into a highly targeted intelligence machine. Finally, let's hit part 6, the intelligence-driven advantage, and diving into the psychology of government buyers. Look, I'm going to give you the secret to the entire federal marketplace in 3 words: reduced execution risk. So many contractors mistakenly believe that agencies just want the flashiest, most innovative solution out there. But in reality, contracting officers are optimizing for survival. They want proven vendors who aren't going to create operational friction or, frankly, make them look bad. Ultimately, they're asking, can this vendor actually deliver the goods, and is this procurement going to survive scrutiny? So I want to leave you with this final thought. Every single time you research an agency, look at an incumbent, or read an RFI, you should be asking yourself one simple question. How do we become the lower risk choice? Stop playing the GovCon lottery hoping your number gets called. Use this intelligence playbook to study the mission and prove that your small business is the safest, most reliable choice on the board. That is your agency research advantage. So, are you ready to stop guessing and start strategizing?